This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo. It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2. Forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4. I should have yelled 2.
Well, look at this. He changed time slot. I'm looking at our live analytics on Inforum right now. Just spiking with you, Han, here.
I got a text. Got a text from a longtime viewer.
Yeah.
Says, "Are you being phased out?"
No.
Because I'm a half hour later.
No, we adjusted our schedule.
The career decline has started.
No way.
It started.
We watched at the top of the hour because you can just catapult us into our second hour. I appreciate you changing your schedule.
Did you see where a couple internet warriors in the Denver area mixed you and I up?
No.
Yeah. So you're the one in our video blog, Bison Media segment, who said Colorado is a true freshman starting on the offensive line and blah, 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 blah.
True.
And they thought I was you. Jeff Kolpack doesn't know what he's talking about.
He is a true freshman.
I think they thought he was, we inferred that he wasn't good because he was a true freshman.
Oh, he is a true freshman out there.
We
lost audio here in our room. I don't know. We got audio going out. We don't got any audio in here. But there we go. The thing to me, I got another couple on those as well. Let's start it right there. Deion's got his own issues right now. Now they've banned a guy. If you want to hear Sean Keeler, you can listen with him on Mike's podcast from last week. That he's not allowed to ask any questions. I mean, that was
all year.
As of now, that was topic A on ESPN this morning. That is what they're dealing with, not the football game. Which, granted, I think Deion had the prepared notes on Tim Polasek like this. Asking about that, like he's never seen the name before in the history of his life. But that's there. The specter of all this is worried about all this junk off the field and not about his football team.
I'm going to get into it more on our pregame show on Thursday, but the experimental nature of this game of an established program versus what Colorado's got going on now and your beliefs on what's important with football. And again, I'll get into it more on our pregame show, but it's such an interesting contrast of philosophies.
Pete Thamel brought that up to me when we were in Vegas about the team that has the continuity and the success like North Dakota State and the great experiment that is Colorado. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out in the game on Thursday. If the Bison were a healthier unit, I would feel much differently about this game than I do as we sit here on Monday morning.
I think the Bison of 2021 win this game.
Yes.
Maybe 2022 win this game.
Yep.
Yeah, too many question marks right now where you can't just really say that right now. That said, you don't know what Colorado has.
Right.
Who knows? They don't even know.
No, and you'll hear Polasek will say it. He's got his press conference coming up today at 2 o'clock. You can see it here on Extra and WDAY Plus, that Shadur Sanders is the best quarterback that this school has ever faced. He said that to me. I know he said it again in his radio show on Friday. So that's out there. And whatever you want to make of the Colorado offensive line and their issues there, Shadur Sanders can make all those problems go away.
What round was Ken O'Brien taken? What pick?
He was the first pick. I think he was the 24th selection for my guy, Ken O.
Right.
So, and Shadur will be...
Is that Ken O'Brien?
It's Ken O'Brien right there. He will be drafted higher than that. Shadur Sanders will.
Yeah.
So, regardless of draft position, I think athletic-wise, what he's able to do, and Polasek hinted at this with me last week, his ability to make plays in the pocket surprised him when he was going back and watching the tape. We see the highlight plays of Shadur running around and scrambling and making those kind of the off-platform plays, but his ability in the pocket's pretty darn good, too.
And he's so big. I mean, he's a big dude. He's 6'3", 220?
He's a big dude.
215, 220, and fast.
No, he's got all that they're bringing to the table. Now, for the Bison, we will find out a few more things today. We can confirm Cole Wisniewski had surgery over the weekend, so he's not going to play in the game Thursday night, Jeff, which we already knew. Question is, does he play this season? That's what we're going to have to ask today.
Yeah, question 1A, obviously, right off the bat of the head coach is what his status is. They've operated all fall without him, so it's not like this is
Shocker.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think we've known there's been chatter for at least 2 weeks that he
Even
may not
longer,
play
maybe.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's his status being up in the air and being in doubt. So what happens now? Let's just talk about Cole. We're worried about Bison secondary in a second. For Wisniewski, if he does not play, he can redshirt, and then he has the opportunity to come back and play for the Bison in 2025. He could transfer to another school and play at a higher level school in 2025, or he can enter the NFL draft. I think the last one is the least one to do without being able to play, Jeff. That doesn't make much sense to me.
I go back, Dom, to Trey Lance, and the word you hear about Trey Lance in college, I'd heard about that, was he didn't get enough pictures. He didn't get enough pictures at the line of scrimmage, and just not enough plays. He was a starter for 1 year and then moved on. And are we seeing the issues there now crop up? He had 5 interceptions, not all his fault.
No.
But there's still
5 picks on Saturday.
Nonetheless, on Saturday.
Yep.
And did he see enough in college to translate over to the pro level? You're starting to wonder. Obviously, you're starting to wonder about that. Now, Cole Wisniewski's only played 1 year at safety.
Right.
1 year. Is that enough to translate over to the NFL level? I think you got to play another year, do you not?
I would agree with that. I just don't know where. And that's where the conversation, I'm not saying NDSU wouldn't welcome him back. I think they would. But also, it'll be 6 years. He might want to try. And he obviously had opportunities to go last year. We well documented. He came in here and sat here and talked with me about the opportunities he had. That's the next question. If he cannot play, I'm no doctor. I don't know if he can come back and play this year. I think people holding on to that may be fool's errand, I guess is maybe the best way to describe that.
Well, and it's a foot injury and you're safety and you have to run and you have to move and you have to have change of direction.
Right.
You have to have some of those things as an offensive lineman, but certainly not to that degree.
Right.
And so that makes, his position in itself is you better be pretty close to healthy when you're going against receivers running 4-5 on the outside.
Especially these guys that they're going to be facing on Thursday. And that leads to my next point. So, okay, Wisniewski's not going to be there. It's Ryan Jones. Welcome to the big time. I mean, it was already. Jones started a game last year. It was against Western Illinois when Wisniewski was knocked out with a concussion against UND. Darius Givens is going to be welcome to the big time as well, along with Sam Young. That's the group on the back end. Boy, they're going to have their hands full.
I said that on this show last week, and I hate to repeat myself.
No,
I don't
fine.
know how else to say. This is a Darius Givens year. I think he's the playmaker guy back there. He has the ability of a Wisniewski that is able to do some things with his 6'2". He's 6'2". He's a big guy.
Yep.
He's fast. I think he has more playmaking ability than Sam Young or Ryan Jones. But we'll see about that.
There's another name in there, too. Jalen Crumby's another name as
he
well.
might be another number,
That's another guy who's a redshirt freshman, young man from Tampa that's got all the athleticism. Not 5'11", 195, but has had a great camp. I would not be surprised if we see a lot of him out there. He wears number 4.
Was Christian Dudzik a big guy?
He was not.
Was Colton Hegel a big guy?
Nope. They worked out okay.
They worked out all right.
So something to keep an eye on. But those are the names. Get to know them. You know Sam Young, the ones we just mentioned, Crumby, Givens, Jones are going to make their first impact as Bison coming up on Thursday night in a heck of an environment with Travis Hunter. And it's not just Hunter.
Yeah, there's other guys.
I mean, Jimmy Horton is a fantastic player. They got 2 others, a transfer in there from Vanderbilt that's a really good player. It's not all Hunter, and he's not 100%, but there are other weapons that Shadur has to throw the ball to are dynamic.
I guess it could be the most speed NDSU has gone against.
Ain't no doubt about that, I think. Yeah.
Certainly more than Iowa. I'm just going back here. Arizona.
No, I think bar none.
Yep.
This is the most athletic, all of that. And that lends to the question.
Well, K-State had a couple guys on the outside.
Lockett's still playing in the NFL, but I think overall, top to bottom,
their quarterback certainly wasn't as fast as Shadur.
That's what I'm saying. The whole package that what Colorado brings, athleticism-wise, that's why that's, to me, top on that. So that's one position group. The other that looks like it's sorted itself out is offensive line. And the Bison are going to have at least 2 guys making their first start. Jake Rock has started 2 playoff games, so he's going to be starting on the inside. But you have Griffin Empey at left guard, who's redshirt freshman, going to make his Bison debut. That's Empey there. And then Trent Fraley, the transfer from Marshall, likely is going to be the starter at center. So those are the 2 Bison debuts to go along with Rock, who's not making his first start, but he'll be the newcomer on the Bison offensive line.
Yeah, when Trent Fraley made the decision to transfer from Marshall, I thought he was the guy that maybe had to develop more than anybody because I like his NFL father lineage. I like the fact he was a high recruit. And, the Bison had the transfer from Missouri who hasn't quite...
Isaac Zedekiah,
yeah.
yep.
So you wonder, okay, is he that level that won't make the lineup, or is he next level guy? And I guess we'll find out in the next month if he's a next level guy. But so far, that what tells me is that the fact he's starting at a position that is so important to the offensive line, you're calling the shots as on what pass. I mean, all those details that offensive linemen do and need to know, and you're working together. I mean,
right.
The quarterback making the call, but you also have the O-line guy making the call.
Yep.
And on the flip side, that's what we're talking about. Colorado, when you have so many new guys. Are you able to gel and play together right off the bat?
Well,
maybe they are.
In a month, that's the part I have a question on because you got to play. At least for the Bison, their two tackles have played a ton of football in Miller and Zabel.
I was a slot back in my day. I have no idea how the offensive line works.
But the other, Hayden Johnston and another redshirt freshman, you're going to see him out there, and Jack Lewinsky. But that looks like the 7. Maybe Bo Johnson is the 8th, but that's the group, Jeff, that Polisic feels comfortable about with the offensive line.
And I think it's been pretty well solidified for a couple weeks now. Not like they're going down to the last week here and trying to figure that out.
No.
And that's a factor, too. Obviously, these guys separated themselves enough faster than maybe the coaching staff probably was wondering if it happened.
3 redshirt freshmen. How do you feel about that?
Well, Billy Turner started as a true freshman. I mean,
yes.
See, you're falling. You're like that. See, people should torture you. You're inferring they're bad because they're redshirt freshmen.
I'm not inferring anything.
Now they're going to mix us up again.
There we go.
Here we go. Bison fans. Hey, that was Dom Izzo said that, not Jeff Kolpack.
Email comes into the show. The difficulty I have in picking this game is the lack of experience on both teams. My familiarity with NDSU has given the benefit of the doubt that someone really good will step up and make plays, but then why shouldn't I think the same thing for Colorado? Ultimately, I think the Buffs may have too many high-end guys. They'll make too many plays. That may very well be accurate there.
Oh, it's a hard game to handicap. I mean, I don't know how Vegas is figuring that out.
Vegas has got 9.5 plus 9.5 for the Bison. Yeah. So they're thinking that Colorado wins by more than a touchdown, obviously, in this one. So that, to me, is the crux of the whole question of we have going into the game. Who's going to be, and that's Polisic said this going back to practice 1, who's going to be the playmakers to step up and make plays for the Bison? We don't know yet. You
got to think about this game logically, though. You got to throw away the hype. I know it's hard to do.
Yes.
Because Deion Sanders is so good at it.
Yep.
I mean, he's the best at it on the hype and all the attention, and these guys are the greatest. I guess I look back at this is a 4-win team last year.
They were.
Arizona was a 2-win team the year before. Iowa was Big Ten champs the year before the Bison beat them. But NDSU was, I think, better that year, too. So you have to take that into account.
I just...
you know what I mean? You got to take the words out of it.
I've been down
you got to take
before.
People like you and how you just mouthy about things.
It's all me. Yeah, I'm not the one who put the game on national TV. ESPN wanted that. Deion wanted that. I want to see how it starts out. It might be rocky, and it's funny because there's a story out there about the Colorado State game. I remember that vividly. You and I were there. Colorado State scored on their third offensive play. Got beat. Marcus Williams got beat. It was a 70-yard touchdown.
Touchdown to the tight end.
All right, I think it was Crockett Gilmore. Yeah, NFL guy. Colorado State's going to blow the Bison out. And what happened after that? NDSU steadied the ship. They played amazing defense. Colorado State didn't score the rest of the game. Do I think that's going to happen on Thursday? No. But I do think there might be moments where it might go, but...
There usually is early.
Right.
Iowa State scored right off the bat in Kleiman's first game.
I think it could be rocky early. I think the Bison will steady themselves as the game goes along. The question is, will it be too late by the time?
It's brilliant strategy. Let them score from 80 yards on the second play.
Get them overconfident.
Get them overconfident.
Yeah. Let's break. We come back. We'll get Jeff's thoughts on Brent Vigen's big win for Montana State and look ahead to the other big games happening this weekend. You got a free Saturday to watch some games, too.
Ooh.
I know you're excited about that. Back on Hot Mic right after this.
So you gonna cut me down to 10 minutes next week? Where are we
Not at
headed?
all.
Where are we going with this?
Not at all. We got an email, though, for you.
What?
Jeff, are you going to refer to as Coach Prime at his press conference? No. I said Coach in Vegas. I wasn't going to do
I'll
that
go
either.
with Coach.
I don't really like doing that. I refer to people by their first name. His first name isn't Coach, and that was the whole thing last year. He would not respond to people calling him Deion. Right? That's another part of this. I know. Whole part of the deal that's over this game. I will say this, and I know as the TV nerd that I am, this will be the most highest viewed North Dakota State football game ever.
Probably.
Come Thursday night. With the game that it's on, primetime, ESPN, we're going to be a bunch of eyeballs on this football game.
In fact, there's nothing else on. I mean, this is
Well,
it.
there are other games,
Well,
but I don't know if they're interested as this one.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the appeal on that. We had Viggs on earlier. Big win for Montana State to start the FCS season.
He may have coached himself into a Mountain West job with that victory. I know it's New Mexico, but now you have an FBS win on the road at a Mountain West team. You coach out in the Mountain West footprint.
No doubt.
He's recruited. He's obviously, and they didn't play well.
No, that's what he told me. He said to start the show. We didn't play particularly well, and we won the game.
How can New Mexico? Have you been to Albuquerque?
I
It's
have not.
beautiful.
New Mexico is one of the few states I have not been to.
How can you not recruit to that school?
Yeah, that's.
How can you? I mean,
and the way it started, this is how the game started. If you missed it, Malott got sacked and they scooped and scored. This is one of two fumble recovery touchdowns that the Lobos had in the game on Saturday.
New
and
Mexico
they still lost.
Yeah, they had everything going. They had two defensive touchdowns, and you still lose.
Yeah.
And you're an FBS program.
Yeah. Bull used to always hammer me on that one. He says, Dom, there's chances are if you allow a defensive touchdown or a punt return touchdown or a punt block touchdown, it's 98% chance you're going to lose the game. Montana State allowed two of them, but they got this is the second one that happened here. Again, that you just can't draw that up. At that point, it's over. They're up 17 points after that touchdown was
And you
scored.
lose at home. You're up 17 and you lose at home.
And you gave them $400,000 for the pleasure of it. So unbelievable. There's the stat I tweeted because Chris Vanini tweeted out from The Athletic. The Mountain West is really hammering home the strength of schedule argument this season with 35 games against Power 5 opponents, which is fine.
Well, we got to win these games.
But the stat I threw back at him, and I was trying to be a jerk, but they've lost 7 times over the last 4 years to FCS teams. New Mexico lost, Colorado State with 2 losses, Nevada with 2 losses, Utah State and UNLV have also lost
Well,
games.
not to jump ahead on a different subject, but if Washington State and Oregon State get tired of their scheduling arrangement, what they're doing now,
Mountain West,
and start robbing the Mountain West and bringing some of those, because they still own the Pac-12 moniker, right?
Correct.
And so they still have that. And if they bring San Diego State, who do you bring in? Fresno, San Diego State,
UNLV, I would.
certainly
Boise, I
Vegas,
would.
Boise.
Probably Nevada, I would. You mentioned San Jose State. I would bring them in.
Just because of the market size?
Yeah, I'd probably bring these guys in too. I'd bring New Mexico in. Albuquerque's not a small town. I would go get them. Yeah, do that in a heartbeat. Then you go get the
You need Dakotas and
four.
Mountain.
Yeah, you get those 4, and you're all set. Couple other things here before we wrap up. South Dakota State, chances of their game against Oklahoma State on Saturday.
With Gronowski, you can never not say never, but this has got to be the toughest game I think the Jackrabbits will have scheduled with.
Now, Iowa, they played. That's the last time they lost was the Iowa game. It was the 22 season opener, and Kraft got hurt, remember, 5 plays
Oklahoma
into it.
State, here's what's different. Oklahoma State's a veteran team with everybody back almost. Their offensive line averages 29 years old.
And their star running back will play in this game despite the DUI arrest. So
And so you contrast Colorado, so many new faces, but Oklahoma State's a veteran team. Now, if the Jacks pull that off,
then the win streak is in jeopardy. The
33 in a row.
33 is certainly in jeopardy. The 39 may be in jeopardy as well if they're able to get that one. I've circled SIU at BYU Saturday night. I know Nick Baker's not there for the first time in 7 years, but Nick Hill knows how to coach. I like
they've won.
And BYU's bad.
They've won
BYU's
2 of the
not
last
good.
3 FBS games.
They have. They have a good stretch
They
going.
beat Northwestern?
They did. They beat Northern Illinois last year. So they have a streak. It's still an FBS win. I know Big E's going to get on me that I know not all FBS wins are created equal. I understand that, but that was a big win for Montana State. You are our resident golf guy. Tom Hoagie's heading back to the Tour Championship. For those of us that don't understand the game or people that watch, how big a deal is this for the Fargo guy head back there?
Massive. That just sets him up for the next 2 years. He's going in a tournament where the minimum paycheck is $500,000. Minimum.
Yeah, pretty good.
Is $500,000. You're in all the majors.
He's going back to Augusta, which he really wanted that. He's always got a chance to do that again next April.
What are the chances of us getting credentials for that? 0?
Okay, so what did I say?
0.001%.
Yeah, it's limited.
Denied.
Limited availability there, but we'll try.
Yeah, we'll try, yeah.
But for a guy that didn't win this season, I think his best finish was 3rd. He still made almost $5 million this season. And now has a chance to really cap the year in pretty good style. That's
and plus you get in all the signature events next year. It just set once you get in that fraternity of the top 30.
Yeah, you're set up.
And you play decent after that. You are set up for a long time.
There's no doubt. Not to give away your pick, but give me a couple keys. You see, if the Bison want to win the game on Thursday night, they got to do.
Well, Trent Fraley for sure on the offensive line. That's going to be. It's nothing changes with these FBS games. Can they match up physically? Can they use that to their advantage? Can you withstand the speed on the outside of these FBS teams? They're all sort of the same thought, I think.
There. Mm-hmm.
And can you handle the environment?
I don't know if that is going to be as
There'll be a lot of Bison fans.
I think so. I mean, Matt Larson was on the show on Friday, and he thought over 7,000. Think higher than that? They had 10 in Arizona, in Tucson, which is a alumni haven.
And
there.
this is more, it's drivable. I think there's obviously more, there's a lot of Bison NDSU grads in Phoenix.
In the Denver area, though.
But the Denver area
pretty
is
good too, right?
Yeah, I know several.
Yeah. So you think north of 7?
I do.
Do you think as many as Tucson?
I do. I just.
You think that many?
Yeah, wow. Just because it's.
Plus, it's a Thursday night.
It's a destination.
Still get your whole Labor Day weekend in front of you. To your point, I don't think this environment will be anything like Iowa or Iowa State. Like I thought in Manhattan, I thought those environments were difficult. I don't foresee this as. And Pat McAfee made this point, and I agree with him on this, that Colorado are still new to college football. Colorado hasn't meant anything. Like they're there for the scene, Jeff. They're not there, hardcore into the game. I believe that. They want to poster that, you want to put that one on Twitter, fine, go with it. I don't believe that will be the case.
Do you really go on to watch North Dakota State play?
Well, that goes back to the age-old thing.
It is.
That you've told me since 2010. My first road trip was the Kansas game with Turner Gill.
They don't know who you are.
And that's the thing. Like who are we playing? We got Nebraska next week? And Deion doesn't even know who they're playing. You know what I mean? He can say what he wants, but he has great respect for their program.
Now,
Come on.
do an imitation of a start of his press conference.
He's reading all the
he's just reading the notes.
17 national championships.
Then he had to look at his
great
assistant.
respect for Tim Polasek and his Polasek.
Polasek?
Yeah, for his coaching career. They have no idea. They don't worry about this.
Tim Polasek should get on the mic today and go, we're playing Deion Sanders. Is that how you pronounce it?
Now that would be pretty good. A reminder, we can see Tim Pollack's press conference coming up later today, 2 o'clock. You can watch it here on WDAY Extra, WDAY Plus.
We got video blog today, don't we?
Got that coming up here in a few minutes as well. We're back into the swing of things and can't wait. Don't forget, everybody, as well, Bison Game Day will be live 6:30 on Thursday night. Let me get the day right. Thursday night, 6:30 on WDAY.
Have you been working on your altitude training? Do we have to?
Is that a thing?
Do we have to bring the oxygen? No, it's not.
You've been out there. I've only been to Fort Collins when we went to Colorado State. Is the altitude a thing for this game, in your opinion, or no?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I think that's an overhyped, overused, overanalyzed thought.
Okay. I know Polasek has mentioned that they've done some training for that to prepare for it, and obviously from his days at Wyoming, knowing what the altitude is in Laramie. From his days in the Mountain West. Well,
was it an issue in Fort Collins? Was it an issue at Wyoming? I mean, the Bison are 09. They played at Wyoming. They weren't very good, and they still almost
won that game.
Should have won that game.
Great stuff, bud. And
good to see you.
Looking forward to a great week. Jeff Kolpack, you'll see him all over TV this week, including, of course, on Bison Game Day. And we'll have 2 shows that day, one from 3 to 4 and one from 6:30 to 7 on Thursday night. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll continue our Valley preview series. Got a couple other things to catch up on from the weekend as well. We're back on Hot Mic right after this.